Okay, we'll move on to the next topic here. Our team accommodation program. Okay, something that I think is unique to what we do when the Indians teams travel. Okay, they travel and stay, together as a team. So whether you're going to Bloomington, Illinois, or down to East Cobb or Fort Myers or whatever, the kids stay together. And what we do ahead of time is, leading up to that week, I go through and do all the itineraries. It's a fun job. But we do a whole rooming list. We give you the information, where the hotel. We give you the hotel information well in advance. But then on the itinerary, it'll say where we're staying, what the hotel number is, coaches' numbers, all the kids, their rooming assignments. And then pretty much day by day, as much as we can see with the schedule, we'll say, hey, wake up's at 8, breakfast at 8:30, meet in the lobby at 10:30, game at noon, wearing blue, dinner at Chili's, bed checks at 11, start it all over. Okay, and the reason we do this is for a couple things. Okay, our responsibility first and foremost is to the players. And some make the argument, well, it costs me more money because he's staying with the team. Okay, and I'm not, sitting here saying anything, but if finances are an issue, okay, your son will be taken care of for a fraction of the cost of your travel and your time away from work. Okay, and I mean that honestly. Like, I go away on the trips because that's my job. Okay, but you don't need to spend a week in Georgia and then say it costs more money because, your kid's staying separately. As an example, we're going to the Fort Myers tournament. It's probably a bad example because there's tournament fees involved. But if you just even wait out that, to do this Fort Myers thing for the perfect game, it's $600. People are like, wow, it's $600. Well, a couple grand's in the tournament cost. We get rental vans down there, the whole thing. But imagine mom, dad, son traveling out there for 4 days. You're talking a couple $1,000. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. We're doing it because we want to get your son to this baseball tournament and make sure that he has food in his belly, he's got transportation to and from, and he's taken care of. So that's the way that goes. On the accommodation program, we stay 4 per room. And I've also heard, geez, that's crowded. They're high school kids, it's not enough rooms. I was the second smallest person on my college team. Second smallest. And we stayed 4 per room. Okay, Division I program, we stayed 4 per room. So I think if I was capable of doing it, I packed my air mattress, I was good to go. Your 15, 16, 17-year-old son should be all right with it too. On the accommodation program, I said dinner's included. We set a $20 per day per diem for each kid and each coach. So what isn't done in dinner and stuff like that, we'll bring water. Sometimes we stop and get sunflower seeds or Gatorade for the kids. So coaches do our best to get them what they need. One important thing, and it says right on here, and you'll receive forms on each of those tournaments. It says to play in the tournament, you have to be a part of the team accommodation program. Okay, it's kind of like an all or nothing type deal. And again, the reason we do that, it was voted on by the board at one of our meetings last winter, is because if you start having these one-offs, and you need to have these side conversations, well, there's this circumstance and that circumstance and this, it just opens up the floodgates. Everybody's got a reason to do something, and it's an important piece of our program. I believe that the reason our retention rate of players wanting to come back this season is so high is because the kids had that experience. And you're going to have, I'll be the first one to say, you're going to have a few moments where kids get at each other's throats a little bit. Okay, it's bound to happen. Okay, but the way that we handle it and the way that we deal with it, is going to give them a chance to learn from it and grow from it. And also, along with that retention rate thing, when you leave a game and you're leaving with mom and dad, and you lose 8-2, and dad's like, oh man, you shouldn't have made that pitching move, and that kid's no good, you know, and the coach and the other players got to start getting thrown under the bus. Okay, you want to know what? That gets deep into here. And your son starts believing that too, and he looks at his teammates differently. He doesn't respect his coach anymore, and things get out of control pretty quickly. And it's not knocking anybody because, hey, I do the same thing. You know, I recap in my head, oh, I screwed that up, I shouldn't have done this. We're going to make mistakes, it's baseball. Okay, but when you lose a tough game, or you win a great game, you should be with your teammates. Okay, you should pick up the guys that are down. Okay, you should pat the guy in the butt, the guy that, you know, won the game. You should be together. And you should be able to face your coach, you know, win, lose, draw. He pulls you out, whatever. That's part of growing up. That's part of preparing for what the college baseball experience is going to be like. You know, that's part of being a man. So I feel very strongly about it. And like I said, we did vote on it last winter. And if you're uncomfortable with that, again, this might not be the best place for you. Did I miss anything on the travel park?
I don't think so. Cool.
Are there any questions on the travel parks? That's kind of a big one.
I realize the boys stay in the same room,
Yes.
and I'm sure that the team gets reduced rate accommodations. If the parents did want to go, are they welcomed to get the same rate for their own room?
Yes. We were lucky enough to have a few parents, actually who are in attendance tonight, last year help us out, and they each kind of took on an individual age group. So they laid that out, and I think we probably had it out by what, January, February?
February.
I announced tournaments, and the same thing this year. I should have our tournament schedule done by January 1st, and right away they hopped on it. We had hotel reservations done by February, send it out to all the families. You know, they had until so-and-so date to book. Yeah, so a lot of the parents stayed at the same hotel. And one other cool thing, and parents, you may not even realize this, but some that have been through it, you don't realize how much more time you have to enjoy yourself when you don't have to show up an hour and a half early, you know, and sit there and wait for the coach to, you know, talk to the team after the game, or, you know, have them run sprints because they weren't pulling their head out of their, you know what's. But it just frees up you. So if you're going, you know, if you are going to travel, you know, and you're going to spend a weekend down wherever, all right, well, you know what, we'll show up for first pitch, and we'll be enjoying the 2-for-1 appetizers, you know, down the street. So it's nice for the parents to be able to get away and, you know, enjoy that break for them.
How are you handling the cleaning of the uniforms that when you're gone for 4 days and you got all this cleaned up? Who's taking care of all that?
Who takes care of it? Well, at the beginning of the year, okay, or at the beginning of the season, see every team that I've ever been, or every trip I've ever went on, you know, I've assigned kids, hey, you and you got it tonight, you and you got it tomorrow. Part of growing up. I think some of the coaches got a little lax, and, you know, some of the parents picked up the slack. There was one, Louisville, right, where it wasn't actually in a hotel.
Right.
Marnie, right?
Yeah.
I jumped all over you. I saw an email go out. She's like, yeah, I'm picking up the uniforms, and I'll take them over to get the laundry done. I responded just to her. I'm like, you're not doing laundry. I'm like, why aren't the kids doing laundry? Yeah, because there wasn't laundry at that hotel for. It's because we moved location or whatever the case may be. We changed hotels or something. But by the end of the year, on the itineraries, it actually said night one. You know, I had one representative from each room collected, bring it down, you know, bring it back. And if they didn't do it, you know, shame on them. But, you know, we accounted for it.
Let's travel the handbook to the tournaments.
To the tournaments is on the families. And what we found is that most of them, like say the Indians teams, or say you go out of town 2 times, you know, you're going to buddy up. You know, you probably already know somebody. But as the season progresses, you probably become closer with somebody, or as the winter training goes. So the parent says, well, I don't have to go this weekend. And, you know, they bring one kid one weekend, and you bring their kid the next weekend. And I think the big part of that is just, you know, different people have to leave at different times for different reasons, and are coming from different locations. So we really don't have like a central meeting point and launching point, because geographically we're kind of spread out.
Yes. You should, the rental vans are only for the far trips.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the only couple trips that we did those rental vans were for, yeah, we went to Atlanta, we went to Florida. Outside of that, you know, it was kind of that shared responsibility thing, you know, amongst the parents and some of the coaches. Yes.
So on average, how many tournaments are out of state? Out of like 7 to 9 tournaments?
Last year we did, with the tribe teams, 3, with the Indians teams 2.
So would you say most are within like a 3-hour radius of Chicago? Or-
Yeah, we did Indianapolis, Springfield, Bloomington, Ann Arbor, Michigan, a little bit outside 3 hours, which actually turned into Toledo. Truth be told, the night before the tournament. We did Louisville. Yeah, so pretty much around here. You know, Kenosha, which wasn't an overnighter, and then there's some other ones. There's some one-offs like Rockford and Cal. Beautiful Jefferson High School. Rockford, Illinois. You know, and some of the parents decided to stay out there for a night, but that wasn't part of the program. Other travel questions?
So on the Florida trip, it's just get down there however you can?
Yeah, there were a couple kids last year that flew on their own, and we coordinated that, so they were on the same flight as I was. And that's the way we've done it kind of all along.